Imagine this. Each morning you wake up in a different spot, usually the floor of a church or a rec center, sometimes a tent. You wake up, pack everything you own into 2 saddlebags, and get on your bikes at first light. You, your 2 leaders, and 8 fellow high schoolers jam down a few bagels before hitting the road. You bike for about 2 hours at a time before you reach your destination, averaging 80 miles. You eat and sleep and get up again the next morning. This is the sort of nomadic life I took up in the summer of 2014 when I rode my bike from South Carolina to Los Angeles. We found a lot of things in 6 weeks, parts of America we'd never seen, kindness in people we'd never met, and dirt like we had never imagined. But I think the most important thing we found was ourselves. It's hard to identify a turning point in 3,000 miles of stories, but one day sticks out to me. Desert Day. A single lonesome road ushered us through the hot desert on our way to 29 Palms, California, 110 miles through the cruelest stretch of the Mojave. Temperature swelled to over 100, and the air was so dry, our sweat evaporated before it could even touch our skin. We alternated between bottles of Gatorade and capfuls of soy sauce in an effort to stay hydrated. With about 10 miles left, I thought I might collapse. I wanted so bad to collapse. It would be so much easier to just tip over into the hot sand and simply stay there forever. But I kept going. I didn't think I was going to make it. I thought they were going to have to drag me into 29 Palms. But I did it. And just when I thought I had reached my breaking point, just when I was ready to drop everything, we crested a hill, and there it was, a sun-faded sign welcoming me to 29 Palms, California. A few petals later, we were in the parking lot of a Holiday Inn. Now, I've never cried of happiness before, but that day I came the closest. My face welled up as if it was about to cry, but no tears came. Guess I was a little dehydrated, and that soy sauce didn't quite help. It's funny, though, because in this great empty desert, I had never felt so full. I had never felt so strong, and I had never felt so limitless. In fact, I think we create our own limits. Riding my bike across America was never physically impossible, although extremely challenging. But where you got yourself into trouble is when you told yourself that it was. Because what you tell yourself and what you expect from yourself are what comes to be. Looking back, the thought of an open road greets me like an old friend. You learn a lot about yourself when it's just you and a strip of pavement. But our trip probably wouldn't have been as memorable as it was if it weren't for the people we met along the way. One hot and hazy day on our way to Benton, Arkansas, the open road stretched for miles over rolling hills. The consistent up and down made it easy to pick up speed, and my mind went elsewhere. I was thinking about nothing and everything, and then boom, I was in a ditch. I had come down so hard on my front wheel that my wheel bent into some sort of pathetic metal taco. My leader and I sat on the side of the road watching it spin halfway around and then get stuck and turn the other way. The rest of my group hadn't seen or stopped, and we were the last 2 in line. So we found a nice man to drive us the rest of the way to Benton, our bikes in the back of his pickup, duck calls hanging from the rearview mirrors. We met up with the rest of the group at a church in Benton, and we were then faced with what to do about the bike. All but the bike shops around were closed on Mondays, of course, and every attempt we had at fixing it failed. Then in strolled the hero of the day, Ken. Ken was a local and an avid cyclist. I don't know where he came from or how he heard about our predicament, but it didn't matter. He simply took the measurements of my wheel and disappeared. Half an hour later, he materialized with a slick, black, not broken wheel he had pulled off one of his very own bikes. "Ride this thing all the way to the Pacific," he said, not even concerned if he got it back. Ride it I did, and thankful I was, I took that thing straight into the ocean. And at that moment, I realized it wasn't just about the 11 of us. There are a handful more of stories like these, and if it weren't for those special people, we definitely wouldn't have made it all the way. I'd like to end with a poem Doug Woodward wrote for his son. He writes, "Child of mine, come as you grow. In youth you will learn the secret places, the cave behind the waterfall, the arms of the oak as they hold you high, the stars so near on a desert ledge, the important places. And as with age, you choose your own way among the many faces of a busy world. May you always remember the path that leads back to the important places." Sometimes in life we get stuck, in ditches and in life. But when we have that, we have to make a choice, to believe in ourselves and blow by our perceived limits, but also to remember where we came from and those who helped us where we're going, wherever that may be. Thank you.